Hello, welcome to the Retired Farm Boy channel. My name is Jeff. Today's video is my retirement story. I'm sure you're all dying to hear that, right? Well, in the last couple of months, I've been blessed and have had quite a few influx of new subscribers. And I want to thank all of you for that. And so I thought it might be a good time to step back a little bit and talk about how I got to where I am today, and a little bit about my history and along with my wife's history and where we intend to go. Something that I want you to hang around for. I've been in retirement over 3 years now, and so I'm going to try to leave you with a couple of tidbits about what I've learned since retiring, and also how I've changed since I've retired. And the changed ones, I got some input from my wife, so I thought it'd be good to get some from her to see what she thought about my perspective on retirement and how I've changed. So let's get into the video today. So I want to start out and just talk a little bit about my history and how I went through my career. I graduated high school and thought that I wanted to be a farmer. I lived in a farming community. I worked on a farm my whole high school and afterwards helping other people. So for the first couple of years after I got out of high school, I farmed up for myself and raised tobacco. And so that's what I did, and found out very quickly that farming was probably not something I wanted to do for the rest of my life. Not that I didn't like the work, because I loved it actually, but it just wasn't going to pay the bills and build the kind of life that I wanted for myself and my family and such. So I started college and was still working, and got my degree in computer science. Took me a while, but I did, and got into the IT industry, and simply could not have fell into probably a better career choice for myself. Although going into it, I had no idea what the computer industry was going to be. Never even used a computer before I went to college. So it turned out to be, something I truly enjoyed, and had a 37-year career in IT after that. So that's my background as far as my work. I always, from my first job forward, I always saved through my 401k. I tried to always have some money in the bank, my little emergency fund, I guess you'd say, that I had for things that came up. But I was always pretty relentless about saving. Not always as good all through my career as I could have been. You go through times in life where you might need to bring that percentage down that you're saving, a little bit lower than what you want because you've got something going on. There was even one time where I actually took money out of my retirement savings, which is a no-no to do, as the penalties of everything is devastating for you. But, I made it through, and for the most part, I saved my entire career. Last few years, in fact, probably the last 10 years, I was maxing out my 401k to what was available to save in my working career. My wife, she's has a similar background from a work perspective. She works in IT now. She's still working. She got out of high school and went immediately to get her bachelor's degree. She started working on her master's right after that while she was still working. Early in her career, she was in the customer service area and had different positions and leadership roles in that area for the first few years. After we got serious and all, she continued her education after we got married even, and started getting her doctorate. So she has actually got a doctorate. She, again, was working all during this time to get it. She's probably the smartest person I know. I don't know of anybody else that I can say is smarter than her. And she got into IT not long after she got her doctorate. And she's been in IT now for about 20 years. So she enjoys it. Now, this is my wife and I's second marriage. My wife didn't have any kids. I had two. We've now got 4 grandchildren, two from each child. And we just have the time, going ball games and taking them places and watching them grow. It's just a wonderful thing. And so we've really enjoyed that through the years. And of course, in retirement, you get to enjoy it even more. I get to spend more time with them than ever because I got more time. So that's kind of us in a nutshell. We got to retirement. What is our plans for the future? Well, we both want to do a lot of traveling, and we have done quite a bit of traveling together. And even during when we were both working, we tried to do a couple of pretty good size vacations every year, a decent size, and the week variety, I guess you'd say, two of those. And we were fortunate enough at one point when we were working together that we worked on a project together overseas, internationally. And so that was a big thing too for us to understand and get to see what the rest of the world was like during that time. I also had the opportunity to travel to other parts of the world and work on some projects while I was working. So all that was really cool, and some of the perks, I guess, that comes with the job. So our situation now is I retired in June of 2022. I was 62, just turned 62 in June that year. I'm now 65, so I've been in retirement for a little over 3 years now. My wife, she's continuing to work. She's planning on retiring sometime in 2026. So that's when things will really start changing for us. Up to this point, I haven't taken my pension. I haven't taken my Social Security. We're not withdrawing anything from our retirement accounts. We haven't had to do so because of my wife working. We get health care through her up until I was old enough to get Medicare. Also her earnings was enough to keep us going. So we're getting to that point. 2026 will be a big year for us. Now, something I want to point out is there's several years difference between ages of me and my wife. So going into retirement next year, when we start drawing from our funds, we'll only be drawing from my funds because her funds will not be eligible to get to unless we pay the penalty and stuff, which we don't aim to. So that's why I'm saying we're not going to be able to get to her funds. So that's a little bit different for us. So we've had to plan for that, and we did. As we started preparing for retirement years ago now, we started thinking about, hey, there's going to be those first several years, it's going to be based on what I have accumulated and what we've accumulated together. But her 401k is, and IRAs are going to be off limits for us. So we planned accordingly for that and feel like we're in pretty good shape. So getting into some of the things I was going to talk about as far as what I have learned since I've retired. Let me pull up my list because I don't want to forget anything. And the first one, I've learned it the hard way, I guess you could say. Your health is the most important thing that you can have in retirement. Ensure that you're making that a priority. Now, some of you know where I'm going to go with this, and I know I'm repeating myself some, but 2025 has been tough on me as far as health is concerned. I ended up getting diagnosed last year, late in the year, with prostate cancer. I had prostate surgery in June of this year, and a couple weeks ago now, I had my first checkup. It was 3 months after checkup, and everything looked good. There's no cancer. My PSA level was way below what they hope it stays below, so I feel good about that. So I'm still dealing with a little bit of the side effects of a prostate surgery. But I'm so much better off and glad that I did it, glad I caught it early. And that's what I want to recommend. Make sure you're doing the things you need to be doing, because nothing can be more important than health. Also this year in September, just actually 4 weeks ago from today, a little over 4 weeks, I had shoulder surgery. Now this was due to me hurting my shoulder after I retired. I did this on my own. I was trying to lift weights like a crazy person and ended up hurting my shoulder. And I dealt with the pain until I couldn't bear it no more. And so once I got the prostate surgery out of the way, that was a whole lot more important. I thought, and got that out of the way, and then I had my shoulder surgery, and I'm recuperating. I'm doing PT. It's doing well, not having a lot of pain, so it's coming along the way it should be. So I say all that to say that's the reason I feel that your health cannot be prioritized enough. Make sure you're going and getting those physicals and that kind of thing. I've had good health. Something I'll add to this, and it's probably the way it is for a lot of people. I've been fortunate to have good health through my life, and I thought I was going to go many more years of having health. But you never know when it's going to hit you, before you retire or after. And as you age, the likelihood is more likely that you're going to have a health related issue. So please make sure you understand that health is the best thing you can force yourself to be good at. Try to exercise, try to make sure you're doing the right things. Something else I've learned is that you lose touch with friends very quickly when you retire. They go away a lot faster. You don't have that much in common with people anymore. And you don't have the opportunity, obviously, when you're not working, going into the office and meeting with them and talking to them and such. But something I have found, that although you don't have as many friends as you did when you were working, the friends you do have, the acquaintances that you pick up, the new friends and people that you meet after you retire, it's a stronger bond. I don't know how to really say it any more than that. I just feel like I'm closer to the friends that I have today. We're able to openly talk to each other. A lot of them are retired, just like I am. Most of them, in fact. And we're all on the same playing field, so to speak, so we can talk more openly about things, and I think that makes a huge difference for us. What else have I learned? You don't need as much money in retirement as you think you do. Now, that fear of not having money, is always going to be there a little bit, I think, with me. Hopefully it won't be with you. Maybe you'll finally get over it. But you may always think that you need more money. But I'm telling you, you really don't spend as much. I mean, you might retire and you go out and do some bigger things. You make that big, huge trip. You go buy something that you've been wanting to buy, or you take on a project that costs a little bit of money, or remodeling a house, some things like that. But in reality, when it gets right down to it, you don't really need to spend there as much in retirement. So that's something that's caught me a little bit off guard, and you start feeling a little bit better about your money situation. So I think that's something I've learned as well. And money just becomes less of a concern. You're thinking about other things. You're thinking about your friends, your family that you're getting ready to that you can now spend more time with, your health. Like I mentioned, you can put more focus on that. So money becomes a little bit less a concern, believe it or not. Now, how have I changed in retirement? Again, some of these things I put on here because of my wife. I asked her how to do that. One of them is, I don't think I'm as competitive as I used to be. I was always been a very competitive person. I'm not trying to keep up with the Joneses anymore. I still am a little bit competitive, but things like that just sort of go off my back now. I don't think about what other people have. I'm glad for them. In fact, I'm glad that they've got those things, and if they got more, that's fine too. That's okay. I had my run at gathering what I had, and so it's fine. I don't have that competitive spirit anymore, I guess, as much as I used to when it comes to comparing myself to others. Let's see. It never crosses my mind to get a job anymore. Now, you may think this is a little bit odd, but when I first retired, probably for the first 2 years after retirement, I kept thinking maybe I should go get back into working and making money, get into consulting. Very easy to do in the field that I came from. I had times where I'd look at job descriptions and stuff, but I never pulled the trigger. And now, for one thing, I know that I'm probably too far removed any longer from being a lot of benefit in the IT industry that I came from or anything else. Sorry about that, but it just doesn't cross my mind anymore to work. I really don't have any desire to work. Now I do work around my farm, and I do help other people and that kind of thing. May pick up some money here and there for helping someone do something, but I mean, as far as a real job, not really something I care about anymore. And this is the one that my wife went into elaboration a little bit more, and I guess you just don't feel like I never was like this. But one thing she says I'm so much better at is I focus on the moment. You know, I'm not thinking of the million other things that's in my mind and ongoing, and I'm not distracted. I'm a better husband, she says, now than I was before I retired. That sort of made me feel bad in a way at first, but I'm glad I got there, right? I mean, I'm glad she feels that way, because that makes me feel good that she feels that way. And so there are some things out there that, you know, you're going to pick up on as you get into retirement, and you can become a better person. At least my wife thinks I am. So that's my list for today. I hope you guys enjoyed. I appreciate again all the people that have subscribed to my channel and helped it grow, and I hope that I can continue to grow it and continue to put out videos that you would like to watch. So if there's any comments you want to leave me about videos in the future, or just comments in general, I love talking to you guys through text and messaging. So until next time, don't let that old man in. See ya.